This is a feature phone. This is a Nokia 2720 Flip. I bought it 3 years ago back in Shenzhen. But this is not just a feature phone. It can go onto the internet. Now, you might say, Zach, how is this any new? Phones can do that already for the last 20 years. Here's the thing. It can go on modern web, which as far as I know hasn't quite been a thing since the early 2010s. You can even go on YouTube with this thing. What system is this phone running? It runs an operating system called KaiOS, which is the core subject of my biggest prediction failure about technology to date. So, before telling you that story, I must tell you this one. It all starts with the Jio company in India. Now, the Hindus among you might already have a rough idea of what happened, but for those of you who don't, I will explain myself. Back in the olden times of before COVID, I learned 2 news. First, Jio is offering affordable internet for everyone, which has increased the number of internet users in India a lot. Second, Jio is launching a cheap feature phone that can go on the modern internet, and that feature phone runs KaiOS. And from these 2 things, I made a prediction. 1. Many people will buy the feature phone to try out this newfangled internet thingy. 2. Since many people will have a KaiOS device, the demand for KaiOS apps and thus KaiOS app developers will increase. 3. Since the demand for both of those things will increase, it would be a good investment to learn how to develop KaiOS apps. So, in 2021, I've made the decision to buy one. I went to the developer portal of KaiOS and I saw them telling you that you need to install a very old version of Firefox. So I thought to myself, maybe this isn't as good of an idea after all, so I dipped. And that somehow became a good call, because KaiOS and this smart feature phone idea never became as popular as I wished. And by the time of writing this script, even WhatsApp is pulling the plug of its KaiOS support. Things will only go from bad to worse for KaiOS from here. So during the time writing the script for this video, I did a little bit of research and have this very flimsy theory. This is the page for JioPhone Prima 2. Jio is selling it for 2,799 rupee. Now, I'm not an Indian and I don't live in India, so I have zero idea how cheap or expensive it is. But I looked it up on Amazon, and the cheapest Android phone you can find on Amazon India is about 7K, and the price of the cheapest feature phone from brands like Nokia or Jio themselves is about 1K. This means that no one's gonna buy the JioPhone Prima 2. The people who can save up money for a relatively short period for the Prima 2, they are very likely to be able to hold on for double the time to get themselves a proper Android phone. Sure, maybe the cheap ones aren't good phones, but at least they are Android phones, and they get to be treated by software developers as first-class citizens. And those who has to save up money for a long period, like maybe half a year, they are gonna choose the cheap option of 1K rupee instead. So for anyone who's gonna buy the new phone, the Prima 2 is going to be a subpar option no matter who they are. If we think about it this way, the potential demographic of KaiOS device owners will be much smaller than we would have thought. And it's not like those who would buy a KaiOS device like this will want to install many different apps anyway. Think about it. What is a mobile phone to these people? It's a device to communicate with families. It's a device to do business, maybe for taking a few pictures or videos, maybe for listening to some music or radio, or maybe read a few books. But you don't need apps for all that. The stock ROMs got you covered, and that's pretty much all they need. I had an aunt that still uses an old Alcatel feature phone up till the early 2010s. She didn't feel that much inconvenience using that phone, and she changed to an Android phone only because everyone's using WeChat. Maybe this is what KaiOS users would do in the end, and maybe this is how KaiOS would eventually fade into obscurity.